Jimmy Donaldson needs almost no introduction. With almost 300 million subscribers, MrBeast sits as the largest YouTube channel in the world, with Jimmy reigning as the undisputed king of YouTube. With his platform, he has raised millions of dollars for charity alongside becoming a role model for young viewers globally, providing entertainment alongside inspiring acts of charity. But, like any with a largely clean public image and beloved reputation on the platform, Jimmy isn't immune to the potential threat of bad actors behind the scenes, who may want to leverage millions of dollars to whitewash their own reputations in front of hundreds of millions of avid viewers. Before diving into the bad actors, however, it's critical to understand MrBeast's business, its direct relationship with philanthropy, and how this relates to creating captivating content for viewers. The MrBeast brand is dependent in large part on this concept of philanthrocapitalism, a term coined around 2006 popularized by economists Matthew Bishop and Michael Green. It's defined as a modern approach to philanthropy that applies the principles and strategies of capitalism to charitable activities. In the case of MrBeast, Jimmy creates spectacle content featuring philanthropic acts, generating revenue in the form of sponsorships or ads. He then donates a great portion of the revenue whilst reinvesting the rest to grow the business. As the spectacle of the channel grows, so do the revenue and the size of the charity acts. Philanthrocapitalism can be seen in many facets of modern business. Billionaires like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and others have pledged much of their fortunes to global philanthropic initiatives. As the world becomes much more socially aware, wealthy corporations and their affluent leaders face mounting pressure to take responsibility for their impacts on broad societal issues like social equity, wage equality, or climate change. And while this accountability is a step in the right direction, it's often tough for consumers to delineate who's truly tackling pressing issues versus those spending millions to put up a mere facade of altruism. The core problem with philanthrocapitalism is twofold. On one hand, it's tough to have real visibility on massive corporations and their massive charity efforts on such substantial issues. On the other hand lays the sheer complexity of massive issues like climate change or homelessness. There simply is no one way to solve these issues. But therein lies a fundamental mismatch between what steps to a solution appear to be effective in the short term versus what solutions are truly tackling the root cause long term. And in the world of social media, the entertainment value of each solution is perhaps most pivotal in what gets pursued. A 2022 documentary by the channel Then and Now really dives into the problematic side of these types of charitable initiatives. I highly recommend checking it out if you want a more detailed discussion, as I'll link it below. Take the Team Seas initiative, a remarkable effort where Jimmy, Mark Rober, and thousands of supporters were able to raise $30 million to clean up over 30 million pounds of trash from the ocean. An extremely noble and inspiring initiative. But diving deeper, the Ocean Cleanup, a nonprofit helping lead the cleanup effort, lists Coca Cola as one of its leading corporate sponsors. It's important to note that Coca Cola was named the world's largest plastic polluter for a sixth year in a row in 2023. One study found that it made up more than 11% of branded plastic that ends up in the ocean each year. Alongside this, the company also reported a 6% increase in its use of plastic packaging in 2022 alone. This percentage increase amounts to over 454 million more pounds of plastic being used in its business in 2022 alone. What this reveals ultimately is the disproportionate effect cleaning trash from the oceans has as a solution when compared to addressing the root cause, pushing for more sustainable packaging and reducing our consumption of plastic to reduce our waste. Ultimately, it's extremely difficult for a company like Coca Cola to reduce their plastic consumption quickly, as it would cost billions in profits. Instead, it's much cheaper to invest some money in the feel-good cleanup process. It's much less efficient in actually addressing the root problem, but treats a symptom of the issue in the short term whilst bringing benefit to the company in the form of its associated goodwill. For a company which spent over $5 billion of marketing alone in 2023, it's a drop in the bucket for their marketing budget to donate to causes that create these large spectacles that make consumers feel as if they're doing their part to help out. In the same way, the 30 million pounds, or over 15,000 tons of trash removed in the effort, is a drop in the ocean compared to the over 12 million tons of plastic that's added to the ocean each year. A similar phenomena occurs with his $10,000 each day you survive in a grocery store video. The sponsor, Albertson's, has been criticized for creating food deserts by imposing land restrictions that prevent new grocery stores from opening when they leave town. Critics argue that this contributes to food insecurity and a lack of affordable food options in lower-income areas. This serves as yet another example where a flashy giveaway creates positive buzz for much cheaper than addressing a predatory tactic that is much closer to the root of a significant problem like hunger. At the end of the day, what I feel to be the existential question to all philanthrocapitalist entertainers like MrBeast is simply, what happens when your cause or initiative isn't entertaining enough? This can lead to two distinct outcomes, the first being a bias towards the more entertaining and palatable solutions, as is the case with the ocean cleanup example or giving food away to families. It's important to note that MrBeast is, at the end of the day, a business and not a charity. So logically, entertainment must trump efficiency. Jimmy has an unquestionable eye for captivating content, so he's able to find middle grounds on issues that he's passionate about, which fit both his values and his business. But the downside of this is that the solutions that make for the best spectacle are frequently not the most effective. While cleaning up the oceans is much more fun to watch and think about than reducing our plastic consumption, it only addresses a symptom, not the cause. The second, more harmful outcome is the over-sensationalization of issues, which at its worst verges on exploiting those in need. Now, this is something that I personally think Jimmy generally avoids, but other YouTubers often fall into, wherein self-interest in the form of views or money clearly seem to take center stage over any genuine altruism or desire for meaningful change. As the genre of philanthropic content will only grow, it is critical to be aware of how creators and their reputations will now be at center stage for personifying brands which, again, have their own financial self-interests over that of charitable causes. Again, I want to reiterate that Jimmy has done a great job of selecting partners and doing inspiring work in communities. The Coca Cola or Albertson's examples are much bigger issue than just MrBeast. The lack of transparency and corporate motives and the structure of these initiatives is done by design. Maybe Coca Cola does have the environment's best interest in mind long term, but that's ultimately up to our interpretation of what we can see. In the end, we must be cautious when consuming feel-good philanthropic content, particularly when corporations and individuals with significant financial interest stand just behind the scenes. Is what I'm watching really an act of kindness? Would a corporation or creator really care to back these issues if there was no camera to publicize it? Is what I'm watching really tackling the root cause of an issue, or is it merely treating the most entertaining symptoms of it? With these questions and this awareness in mind, we, as creators and consumers in the digital world, become empowered to ensure that we are not exploited for the causes we care about most. Thank you. Thanks so much for watching. If you're new here, click on Homer's beautiful face to subscribe. I make new videos every Friday. Click on the last video if you missed it, and I hope you have a beautiful day.